software supply chain is just like any other supply chain. Essentially, the premise is more and more value that organizations deliver to their customers is delivered using digital technology. And most of the digital technology is not actually built by the organization. There is a lot of original equipment manufacturers. You buy, you lease, and you use technology that is built by the suppliers. So essentially, when the product or the solution that you sell to your customers comes together, and if it involves technology, it's almost guaranteed that it involves a lot of different partners and suppliers. In order for the company to provide a secure piece of software to their customers or a secure piece of technology to their customers, sometimes if there is a flaw in that supply chain of the software where you acquired it, it could go upstream and cause problems for your customers. So hence, that's the supply chain vulnerability or the supply chain problem with the software. So the exploit in a software supply chain, the way it happens is, a lot of times it could be inbound. For example, you are using a piece of technology that is infected, and then it goes upstream and causes issues with the software that you're selling to your customers. Another way is outbounds, which is when you are selling a piece of software, and if that unfortunately has a vulnerability or a problem that causes and infects your customer's environment, and then sort of it propagates from there. So both are inbound from your suppliers, and when you are a supplier to your customer, it can infiltrate and propagate into their environment as well. The biggest way to address this is there's a lot of technology coming out which is going to make it easy and automated for you, but it goes back to foundations. This is building a solid foundation in terms of understanding your real estate, the digital real estate, having a process to manage when new technology enters the organization, and to establish what is called the software provenance, which means is for us to understand that the software and the technology that we use is coming from a source that we trust, or for a very fundamental, in a very fundamental aspect, understanding where the software came from. And if you can establish the provenance, it's a lot more easier for you to put controls around this. The second big piece is having a very clear view of data classification, understanding how you classify data within an organization. There's no one single way that fits every organization. There are different logical models. If you're in the healthcare business, you categorize your data differently. If you're in the financial services business, you think about it differently. If you're in a technology business, you think about the data classification differently. And then you overlay that on the risk to your applications that you supply to your customers, which gives you a good map of understanding how the software supply chain builds the technology that you use to help your customers. To build resilience in organizations against software supply chain type issues, it comes down to less technology and more of a governance and process, which means is bringing senior leaders within the organization together to sponsor the governance around the insertion of technology into the company. And the cultural aspect is to manage how this will slow down insertion of new technology with optimizing your risk. You have to manage both of them. You cannot slow it down too much and become very risk averse, but at the same time, you cannot always accept new technology in the company and increase the risk exposure for the company as well. So it's a balance, and usually bringing senior leaders in the company to sponsor such governance process is the best practice. So that's what we started doing, which is because we are a technology business and we supply technology to our customers, which is managing their risk profile. It's very important for us to know what technology and what software is being inserted into the company. And it's not just software, it's any technology that's been inserted. And like most corporations, as growth comes from both organic and inorganic ways, it's very important to know when you're integrating other businesses into your business, what is the technology footprint that you're bringing. There is a financial benefit to it as well. You can start rationalizing multiple technologies. So there is a financial benefit, there is a risk mitigation benefit, as well as there is just benefit in terms of understanding the technology landscape that you have. So you're a lot more prepared in case you're unfortunately in a situation where you have to address some of these issues. The first thing is go talk to your IT guys. Make sure that people are aware that the technology that you're using is experiencing some sort of a software supply chain vulnerability. The second thing would be is to understand what other pieces of technology you may be using in order to deliver that value to your customers, and work with your InfoSec and IT teams to make sure that you understand the landscape and you can address appropriately some of these issues.